Vodcast was developed in collaboration with the New South Wales Equity Consortium as part of the Imagine Futures program. The views and opinions expressed by ambassadors in this interview are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official position of Macquarie University and Punchbowl Boys High School.
Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of your Imagine Futures podcast. This project is a collaborative effort between the English faculty at Punchbowl Boys High School and Macquarie University. Today we are joined by 4 Macquarie University student ambassadors who will help us explore what Year 7 students can do now to build for the HSC and for their future careers. As part of this project, we asked Year 7 students at Punchbowl Boys High School what they wanted to ask people who have been through what they are going to go through. And these are the questions that they came up with. So first, before we get started, I would like our student ambassadors to introduce themselves, starting with Christina.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina. I'm a second year student at Macquarie University and I'm currently studying a double degree, which is 2 degrees which I've combined together of neuroscience and psychology. So for those of you who don't know, psychology is all about understanding how people behave, how they act, how they learn, and how they feel, whereas neuroscience is all about the brain and its function. So pretty much everything about the mind.
That sounds really thrilling, Christina. Now let's have Trisha, introduce herself too.
Hi guys, I'm Trisha. Just like Christina, I'm also a second year student at Macquarie. I also do a double degree, but I study law and psychology. I've personally always been interested in working with people, so this is something that I want to do in my future.
Awesome, thank you for sharing, Trisha. Let's have Samantha share, and then finally David.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I'm a second year medical science student, and in the future, I would like to be an anatomy lecturer or a doctor.
And hi everyone, I'm David, and I'm doing a double degree in human geography and primary education. So I'm also in my 4th year, and in regards to human geography, I focus on the physical components of, everyday life, i.e. buildings and how they might be relevant to our living. And when I do graduate, I'd like to become a teacher myself. So there you go.
Excellent. How thrilling to be in the presence of a future doctor and a future human geographer. I actually study human geography myself. So my first question is, how can friendships and other relationships, such as family and friends, help you make better choices about your imagined future? Let's get Trisha and David to answer this question.
I can go first. For me personally, both friendships and family provided 2 different kind of perspectives. As for my friends, they provided me with a variety of opportunities and pathways that I could go down to, whereas my family provided me with a bit more knowledge and experience, because I come from a family of engineers and STEM people, which means they went down the path of engineering, maths, and science. So they provided me with knowledge and experience, whereas my friends, they gave me the opportunity to think out of my comfort zones, out of the box, and figure out what other pathways I could go down.
Awesome. And I'm kind of like Trisha in that sense. Friendships and other sort of relationships by family, they're very important to me. And they kind of help me stay grounded in a range of situations, whether I'm going through a stressful period or wanting to make a difficult decision. So they kind of bring out another perspective that I might not necessarily think of. So I guess that's how they kind of help me make decisions about my future and so forth.
Thank you for sharing. What I might do is actually extend this question to Christina and Samantha. So I'll repeat the question, which is how can friendships and other relationships, such as family and friends, help you make better choices about your imagined future? Could we start with Christina, please?
Yeah, sure. So, one thing for me that was really important was surrounding myself with people who are just as passionate about their future and shared the same values as me to stay motivated. Coming from a family who didn't go to university and me being the first person in my family to go to uni, it was really, really important for me to surround myself with those people who were passionate about their education because I knew this was something I wanted to pursue. So, especially thinking about who you put yourself around and the type of people they are, thinking about if they share the same values as you, I find that really, really important when it came to them molding my perspective of university.
In my opinion, I think friendships and relationships can help you with your choice about your imagined future if they support your interests. For me, I got into medical science, but my parents thought this was a difficult course for me. But through due diligence and hard work, I showed them my passion and they soon became supportive.
Now we'll move on to the second question, which is when it came to classwork and assignments, what positive choices did you make during high school to build the foundation for your future? We might start with Christina and Samantha once more.
So, one thing that was really, really important to me was studying with friends. I'm a super social person, and I think it's really, really great when I have the chance to get together with a friend, go to the library, whether it be like the school library or the local library after class, and just have a chance to sit down and study with someone else. And that's something that I've also extended into my university life, where I find having a study buddy is really important. And another thing I want to emphasize is also using your teachers as resources. The whole reason that they're there is to help you and to help you learn. And it was great for me to be able to just ask whatever question I had, no matter how silly it might have sounded, because using my teachers to consolidate my knowledge was the greatest thing that I could do.
Teachers. Now let's move on to Samantha. How would you like to respond to that question?
Some advice I would give towards high school and building good habits would be staying organized by scheduling or timetabling, especially your self-care time, such as playing video games with friends on Discord or exercising. But also, during high school, you should have hobbies as outlets. Engage in extracurriculars. In high school, I was a vocal soloist, I was in musical theater, I was in debating, and I was a guitarist. And those were just good outlets that helped my mind when I was too stressed with schoolwork.
For sure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Samantha. Okay, now we're moving on to the last question, which I'll be opening to the floor. And this question is, if you could tell your younger self something about making choices regarding school and future careers, what would you tell them? Now, I might start this round with David, please.
Okay, so in regards to that question, I'd probably say do your research. That'll probably be my main kind of advice. Obviously, in high school, you have a lot of interests. So maybe if you pin those interests to different degrees or different lines of work that you would like to get into, then that might help you kind of refine your search, if that makes sense. And maybe getting some advice from teachers or family. They've obviously known you for a while, and they might have a perspective you might not have thought of. So that's my piece of advice. Start your research early and ask people for advice.
Thanks, David. Trisha, how might you respond to that question?
I 100% agree with David that because you're in high school right now, you have a lot of options and a lot of ideas I could go down to. My advice would be to be open-minded and give everything a shot. even if you think that you possibly couldn't like something, even if you give it a shot, maybe you'll find out more about what you like. For me personally, in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I kind of let myself get out of my comfort zone to try different things. Oh, I maybe could go do architecture or nursing or like civil. So giving yourself that opportunity to go around and trying different things will help you figure out what you want.
Definitely. And we should maybe have, oh, we just have two left anyway. Christina, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, sure. So one thing that I did was making sure that I was choosing something that I wanted to study long term. So for me, that was psychology because I personally found the brain really fascinating and I had an interest in developmental psychology in particular, which allowed me to go into the career that I was interested in, where I would be able to support young people. And for some of you, that might not necessarily mean university. It might be working in a trade or a family business. But as long as you can see yourself doing it long term and it's something you're truly interested in, just go for it because that's a thing that'll keep you motivated in the long run.
For sure, for sure. And last but not least, Samantha, how might you respond to that question?
As with what David said, I think seek advice from your teachers and your mentors because they can help you and give you guidance. Even if you don't go to uni, they can expose you to different pathways like TAFE and apprenticeships. And ultimately, you have your own voice and your choice is your choice. So follow your passion and make it a career because doing what you love, you can see yourself doing that in the long run.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your responses and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time and I'm sure our Year 7 students will find great value in your insights as they journey throughout high school. Now for our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for the next episode of our Imagined Futures.